Sadly, it happened last night. It happened. Your daddy's Yankees are dead. They no longer exist. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
Hi.
I know Evan's in a good mood. Just get out of the way. 60 burger. All right, fine. You played a AAA team. You do what you had to do.
The Magic
and you move
defense
closer to
has
getting
been
out of the playing game.
significantly better over the last 4 weeks. I will not allow people to just keep repeating this. But as nice as last night was, I know the truth. Come playoff time, he still won't be allowed to play home games.
As of right now, he will not. Not that we really want to have that another conversation about COVID. None of us do.
No, I'm just responding
But
to
yes.
you and anyone else who says, oh, you must have had a great night. I did, but it's always bittersweet because I know that tonight he can't play. So, yes, I enjoyed last night. I had my 1.5-year-old son Spence on my lap as we watched. I explained to him the intricacies of NBA basketball. But it's bittersweet, bro. But other than that, I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Fingers crossed they play Toronto in the first round. Listen, we got lots cooking today as Yankee fans either went to bed or woke up today with the reality of what I said yesterday. And that is the fear. The fear that your daddy's Yankees are dead. Well, they are dead. They're dead. They no longer exist. And yes, I know the Yankees right now have a payroll that's north of whatever, $237 million, whatever it is. So by no means are they being cheap. By no means are they looking to spend less than what people expect. But they are not bringing in the best available talent. And I can't figure out why the F not. Toronto got better. Tampa, who knows what the hell they're doing. The Red Sox, they lost Schwarber today. But they're thought to be in the market for players.
Yeah, they're not better yet, though.
No, not yet. But what the heck are the Yankees doing? Like, here's what I don't get. Anthony Rizzo, okay. Don't say he's not a good player. Had a very good career, certainly on the back end of it. But you're committing tens of millions of dollars to guys on their last leg and are making no legitimate effort to get younger, which they said they were going to do, to become more athletic, which they said they were going to do, to have guys that are better contact hitters, which they said they were going to do, and overall, to get better. They're not better today. They're not. So, well, yes, the thought of Anthony Rizzo 9 months ago, and when your attempt to try to get into a long playoff run made sense, and it didn't cost you anything. Bringing Anthony Rizzo back now, while Freddie Freeman is still sitting out there, is mind-boggling to me.
They got younger and more athletic at shortstop, to be fair, with Isaiah Connor Falefa. Just to be fair about that.
They brought in a 37-year-old third baseman. And how old is Rizzo?
He's 32. He's the same age as Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
The difference, though, is Anthony Rizzo over the last 2 years doesn't feel like the Anthony Rizzo from 4 years ago. He feels like a guy who, despite being the same age as Freddie, is more so on the decline than Freddie Freeman is. Freddie Freeman's a better player. Freddie Freeman's always been a better player, and Freddie Freeman doesn't feel like he's declining like Rizzo. Here's how I look at last night. I agree. I don't think the Yankees are significantly better than a year ago. But what they've done, and I know this is a very tough thing to sell, but I want to be fair about this.
Yeah.
They have allowed themselves to have a lot of flexibility over the next couple of years. And what I mean by that is Aaron Judge is a lock to be re-signed. I know I've busted balls a little bit over the last few months about it. They are in prime position to re-sign him because they're not committed long-term to Josh Donaldson or Anthony Rizzo. They're in prime position to be a big factor for Juan Soto when he gets to free agency in a couple of years. I know that's not something you want to hear today, but in explaining what's gone on in this offseason, they're flexible moving forward. They're already locked in long-term with Giancarlo. They're locked in long-term with Garrett Cole. They haven't committed to any more crazy long-term deals. That's not me defending this, by the way. I'm just explaining it.
I get it, but you know what it is? There was the promise and the hope of Yankee fans that this offseason was going to be different, that recognizing there was a major need for a shortstop. I know, by the way, there's 4 world-class shortstops at the time that were available. We're clearly going to get one of them, and Yankee fans didn't even care really which one. Close your eyes, throw the dart across the board. Who's our new shortstop? It's not the guy you thought he was going to be.
You said something earlier, and it's so true, and I want to back you up with some facts that may blow your mind. I'm not sure you're aware of this.
Probably not.
So when you say your daddy's New York Yankees, I'm going to ask you a trivia question.
All right.
Between 1999 and 2013, how many times were the Yankees not number one in payroll?
I couldn't answer that question.
0.
Okay.
I'll help you out. They were number one in payroll every season between 99 and 2013.
Okay, and
Since
what happened
then,
in 2013?
Well, they lost in the ALCS to the
Right.
Tigers, and Derek Jeter got hurt, but that's not even the point. Since then, how many times have they been number one in payroll?
I'm going to say 0.
One time.
One time.
In fact, in a couple of years, they were 7th in payroll. So the Yankees still spend, no doubt about it. But when you say they're not your daddy's New York Yankees, there are some things that really back you up with it.
That's why I say these
things. They used to be number one by a lot. There was never a question year in and year out. So they are spending money. But are they spending the money the way, I don't know, you expected it 13 years ago? When the Yankees lose on a broken bat bloop in Game 7 of the World Series, the response is, who's the best player out there? Jason Giambi? Bring him in. That's how they used to respond.
Right.
When they lose in the World Series in 2003 to the Florida Marlins, how do they respond? A-Rod. I mean, when you lose in a wild card game to the Boston Red Sox, with all due respect to Donaldson, who I like, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who, yes, he's younger and athletic, and Anthony Rizzo, did they react the way they used to react to your quote?
No.
Like your daddy's New York Yankees? They have not.
Your daddy's New York Yankees are dead. Now, you could do a couple things with that information, I suppose. You can cry about it, complain about it. You can yell and scream up and down the streets all you want, but it's not going to change anything. And this, I'm afraid, this is the New York Yankees. Good enough to make the postseason? Yeah, sure, why not? Good enough to win a World Series? Probably not. And that's the rub here. They are building a team that is good enough to win 90 games, get into the postseason, roll the dice with a trade deadline type of acquisition, and hope that that's good enough to go on a magical run. And by the way, the Atlanta Braves did exactly that a year ago. So this is not the sky is falling. Oh, my God, we're putting an inferior product on the field, but it feels different.
They're doing two things that may be great long-term, but are very tough to understand right now. They're keeping their prospects, which, Craig, could be great in 2 years.
Sure.
Anthony Volpe may be Derek Jeter. We have no idea. So that could be great. They're keeping all their young prospects as of now, and they're remaining with flexibility. Those are things that aren't going to win you games in 2022. They're going to win games in 2022 because Joey Gallo bounces back, because Gleyber Torres bounces back, because DJ LeMahieu bounces back. They got a lot of guys who need to bounce back. But those two things that are happening right now, keeping your prospects and keeping flexibility, while they may be great in 2025 and 2024,
right,
they're not helping you today. And I get why the Yankee fan looks at this offseason and says, wait a second, have we done enough? Am I going to sit here, and I'm used to this as a Met fan, but here's the reality. You're going into the season with if this happens, if that happens, if this happens, if that happens. Where do you want to start the if train? Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo even bouncing back, Josh Donaldson if he's healthy, if you get any production from catcher, if Luis Severino's healthy, if. Now, all those ifs, Craig, could come out to be positives, and they can win 105 games.
Like I said, they're not putting an inferior product on the field. They're just not delivering on your expectations of them as a franchise. They're going to have a top 3 or 4 payroll in Major League Baseball as well this year. But they are not getting the guys that you had hoped for. And that's why Yankee fans, as you would expect, feel deflated right now. There's no Correa coming here. There's no Trevor Story coming here. There's no Freddie Freeman coming here. Like all these guys that you would have gone crazy for, and you would have said, we're back. Mm-hmm. None of them are coming here. And again, are they going to win 90 games? Probably. And maybe that's good enough. I don't know. But there's a seismic shift for you as a diehard Yankee fan in what your expectations were 15 years ago and what they should be today.
And let's admit, there are some Yankee fans affected by Steve Cohen. They're affected by the fact that there's another team in this town that's spending a lot of money. And believe it or not, seconds ago, James Wagner, who's a reporter for the New York Times, just asked Hal Steinbrenner a specific question.
Oh, Hal's in Tampa right now?
Hal's in Tampa. He said, does Steve Cohen's spending put any pressure on you to spend?
Oh, he's going to say no to that.
Everybody expects that I do, but the answer is no. The fact is I can't control what resources other owners or teams have. That may be true, but there are Yankee fans, I can't say all, Craig, but a lot of Yankee fans who are impacted by it. Just like they would be impacted by the Blue Jays spending $200 million.
Yeah, listen, Toronto made another move today. Freeman's still out there. The owner, and here's what the question should have been. Why haven't you gone after or given your general manager the power to go get an obvious upgrade at shortstop? And it can't be because Anthony Volpe is a couple of years away. No disrespect to Volpe or his family that's listening to the show right now. It can't be that. It's got to be.
It could be, though.
Yeah, but it can't be.
Yeah, but Craig, it could be that.
I don't like it.
It could be that coupled with, hey, I want to re-sign Aaron Judge, and I want to go after, whomever. Juan Soto's the guy we always bring up. But could it be that? Could Brian Cashman have had the wherewithal to do it, but is making different decisions based on his confidence he's going to be here 3 years from now and how he wants to spend? Because at some point there's a budget, right? There may be a very high budget, but there's a budget. So when you say there's no way that's the reason, it very well could be the reason, dude.
I feel bad for Big Mac and Yankee fans. I've only been a Yankee fan for a year, and I, of course, will announce my fandom for this season coming up on March 30th, I guess we're doing it, or 31st.
Well, that was the old opening.
Oh, no, yeah, so. I get another week. Okay, fine. I'll take the time to consider my options. Not that any of you really give a rat's ass who I root for, but, it's what we do, so we're going to do it, whether you like it or not. Kind of like Wag Wednesday. Which, by the way, again, was a ratings bonanza last week. I'm sure it'll be huge this week as the wonderful Paige Van Zandt joins us at 5 o'clock today for another edition of Wag Wednesday. That's coming up.
This is an actual quote from Hal Steinbrenner, Yankee fans. This is a championship caliber team.
Yeah? Okay, let me just ask you a question.
That's what he said.
Who did they add that takes them from a one-game playoff loss in Boston to the World Series parade?
The if train. Everyone's going to be better. DJ will be better. Glaber will be better. Gallo will. No. That's the thinking.
Oh.
The thinking is Aaron Hicks has to be healthy, right?
Got it. He's never been healthy.
Joey Gallo has to be better than last year, right? Anthony Rizzo for a full season, right? Glaber Torres sucked last year. Now he's a second baseman. He'll be better, right? The catching defense is better, right?
So
I could go on and on. It's an if train, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of hope, a lot of ifs. But I think if you ask the average Yankee fan, they don't feel that way. They don't.
They do not. I agree.
I will tell you that Tampa's done nothing. Boston's done nothing. That's fine. That's factual. Red Sox, I guess they lost Kyle Schwarber today to the Phillies. 4 years, $79 million. So, in theory, they're not as good possibly as the team that, took care of business against the Yankees last year. But I know the Yankees aren't appreciably better. And this was the offseason where you could get tangibly better. And, yeah, you're right, Evan. If those things happen, the Yankees will win 97 games.
The New York Yankees they can win 100 games. Like, if Anthony Rizzo, there's a few things about Anthony Rizzo I know. He's solid defensively, and he doesn't strike out nearly as much as other prototypical sluggers. So I understand that. And I'm using the word because there's a lot of it, the New York Yankees have the talent based on performance in the back of the baseball card over the last few years where they can win 100 games.
Well, if they do, you'll feel differently.
Right, but Craig, I don't think there's any Yankee fan after October 5th and that night at Fenway who wanted to go into next season just relying on the ifs. We knew that.
Yep.
They wanted something that would be considerably different. And while Josh Donaldson is different and IKF is different, it doesn't feel like it's enough. Now, are they done? No. I think that they're talking to Oakland. That's the rumor out there today. I think Ken Rosenthal put it out there about adding another starting pitcher. I already like the Yankee rotation, but you can never have enough arms. So they may not be done, but offensively,
yeah,
they look done, bro.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yep. They may get rid of Luke Voigt, maybe if they do trade for a pitcher, but that's about it. 877-337-6666. The other big news today, there's some NFL news, of course. You're done with Buck and Aikman. They're both gone from Fox. I'm not sure how much people really give a rat's ass about that or not. It's just that the longtime voice of Fox football on Sundays and the World Series on Fox is now gone. Gonzo, meaning an alumni of WFAN, is in the first seat to become the new voice of Fox
Is
Sports.
that going to happen?
I don't know.
I hope it happens.
But I think Kevin Burkhardt is sitting right in that money seat.
He deserves it.
Kevin Burkhardt is this close now. Now that Joe Buck has taken, 90 or 75 million bucks, good for him, to go over to ESPN with Troy Aikman. It is now Kevin Burkhardt's gig.
And guess what? What network has the Super Bowl next year? Fox.
Meaning, as of right now, today, it would appear that the former announcer known as Kevin Wayne is the broadcaster for the Super Bowl next year.
Not only would Kevin Wayne, formerly Kevin Wayne, get the next Super Bowl, he could potentially get 2 Super Bowls before Joe Buck gets his next Super Bowl.
I think they have 2 out of the next 3,
They
right?
have 2 out of the next 3.
Yeah.
ABC/ESPN does not have a Super Bowl until 2027.
I got to start doing some play-by-play, I think. Wilson wide right. Jaminski wide to the left. In the slot is double him. Something like that.
I thought of you last night. Even though he didn't break the record that you called, last night Kyrie Irving broke the record for most points in a Nets game, breaking the record once held by a name I don't love to mention, Darren Williams.
There you go.
And you're famous for some of your great calls of Darren's three-point barrage.
I
from
am
many
in
years
the
ago.
Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. Boomer and I are, as we call the Phoenix Sun Brooklyn Net game in which Darren Williams had 9 3-pointers. And I called every one of them with Boomer doing the color on the broadcast. And that broadcast, because it's been beaten, I think, by Klay Thompson, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But in the moment, that broadcast was ushered over to Springfield, Mass. For the Basketball Hall of Fame. And I assume it's no longer there because whoever does
It's irrelevant
Warriors
now.
games now has the call of the record breaker.
Yes.
But for a short time,
You had it.
for a very short time, Evan, I didn't have to buy a ticket to get into the Hall of Fame.
You had it, man.
A small little window of time. I was sitting there. Hey, kids, you want to hear Daddy in the Hall of Fame? They're like, Daddy, you Radio Hall of Fame? I go, no, that's not happening. I'm in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and now I'm out.
That's better being in the Basketball Hall of
I'm
Fame,
out,
isn't it?
though. I'm not there
Yeah,
anymore.
but you were there at least for a time being.
Which is why my son, Lucky, does have an interesting idea about the Hall of Fame. Come up with a number that you like having in the Hall of Fame, and it doesn't matter the sport. He was agnostic when it came to the sport, okay? I'm making up a number. Let's just say there's 150 Hall of Famers, okay? From now on, anytime you put somebody in, somebody's got to come
That's
out.
a terrible idea.
Why?
What?
It happened to his father. I was in the Hall of Fame for like 4 years. And then along comes Klay Thompson with his 7-dribble, 13 3-point affair.
He gets these ideas from you because you're the same guy yesterday who said unretire every famous number in New York sports if it meant acquiring a big free agent.
Well-
so that idea of taking guys out of the Hall of Fame, that basically comes
What
from
I said
you.
was if there's a current player, in case you missed the end of yesterday's show, and I'll continue the conversation today if you'd like me to. If there's a player out there that you want the New York Yankees, or for that matter, the New York Mets to go get, like a total stud, a Freddie Freeman, a Carlos Correa, and that player says to you, I can't wait to play for the Yankees or the Mets, but if it's the Mets, I want to wear 31 or 41. If it's the Yankees, I want a single-digit number. Would you say no, even if that guy puts you over the hump for what you think becomes a championship?
Yes.
And I will say this. It was like 98-2 against me.
Oh, what a surprise.
That most of you said, as badly as you might want a player, you wouldn't give him Mickey Mantle's number.
Of course
You
not.
wouldn't give up Joe D's number.
Of course
You wouldn't
not.
even give up Billy Martin's number or Mike Piazza or, of course, the late Tom
I
Seaver.
would give up Keith Hernandez's number, who hasn't even been retired yet.
Huh. So I guess the New York Giants will not give Baker Mayfield the number 11 or 10. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. We'll get some football coming up as well.